Hey everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. In my past few videos, I've been showing you around the Barcelo Maya Grand Resort in the Riviera Maya, Mexico. If you're anything like me, the process of picking an all-inclusive resort to book can be overwhelming. You need to pick what country you want to go to and what city you want the resort to be in, and then figure out which resort fits your wants and needs and budget and preference. And every resort website tries to make theirs seem perfect, so it can be tough to see what's true and what's just a nicely edited picture. So in these videos, I'll show you everything I saw firsthand on my own vacation to the Barcelo Maya Grand, so you can see if it's the right resort for your trip. As you'll see, it's a huge resort made up of 6 different hotels. So this series of videos is broken down into a few different parts, each focusing on a different aspect of the resort. This video is all about the food. My first video was about the resort's location, the different hotels, what the hotel buildings look like, and what a typical room is like inside. In part 2, I showed you all of the amazing pools and the seemingly endless beach. In other parts, I'll show you the bars and nightlife, the free activities the resort has, some of the extra cost things to do, and nearby day trips on the Yucatan Peninsula. If any of those other parts interest you, links are in the video description. As a bit of a disclaimer, depending on what hotel you stay at, you get to use the restaurants and pools and amenities from some of the other hotels. I stayed at one of the 4 entry-level hotels, so that means I got to use everything at those 4, but I couldn't do things at the 2 higher-end hotels, Palace and Riviera. Because of that, I'm going to focus completely on the food options from the entry-level hotels, the Tropical-Colonial, Caribe, and Beach. But if you're staying at either of the higher-end hotels, you can use anything in these 4, so hopefully the video's still useful for you. Okay, enough of the introduction, let's get to what you really want to see, the restaurants and the food. This is an all-inclusive resort, so everything I'm going to show you is included in the price. There are a few different types of restaurants at the Barcelo Maya Grand: buffets, beach grills, a-la-cartes, and snack bars. You can also get room service delivered to your room, but that has a limited menu and usually costs extra. I never used the room service since there were so many other options, so I don't know too much about it. There are 2 main buffets, one shared by the Tropical and Colonial hotels that I'm showing you here, and another that's shared by the Caribe and Beach hotels. You can have as much food and as many meals as you want at the buffets, so you can always come back again if you're hungry. I usually had my breakfast meals at the Tropical-Colonial one and dinners at the Caribe-Beach one. They have a la carte options for dinner, but all of your breakfasts and lunches are at the buffets. In one area of the breakfast buffet, there was more fresh, lighter stuff like whole fruit, cut up fruit, and yogurt. Then there was another area with different types of breads and cereals. And another area that had sliced meats and cheeses, pretty similar to the breakfast buffets at other hotels. If you're looking for a hot breakfast, they had a really long section filled with typical Mexican and American breakfast dishes. And like any good resort, they have a chef who can make fresh custom omelets for you. They even had a huge selection of fresh peppers. And if you want the opposite of healthy, there's a donut pyramid for you. Overall, I found there was a pretty good breakfast selection, which was nice since the menu didn't change much throughout the week. For your next meal, the buffets switch over to lunch options partway through the day. To be honest, I almost never went to the main buffets for lunch. It's not that I didn't like them, the food seemed good, but I was usually out by the beach, so I wasn't very close to the buffets. But if you're looking for the biggest selection of lunch food, or to relax in the air conditioning, then this is the place for you. In my opinion, the number 1 reason to come to the lunch buffet is because they usually have a taco station. For dinner buffets, I almost always went to the one by Caribe and Beach. It wasn't that it was better than the other, the food was pretty similar at both, I just like to change things up a bit. One of the great things about the dinner buffets is that every night there's a different food theme. And the 2 buffets never have the same theme on the same night, so you can pick whichever one sounds better. This helps switch the food options every day so it didn't get too repetitive. One of the nights is North American night. They have things like burgers and hot dogs and ribs and roast beef. Another night they have an Asian theme. They had sushi and different Chinese and Japanese foods and a bunch of different noodle dishes. Another theme is Italian night. Lots of pasta options and other popular Italian foods. A really popular theme was Steakhouse night. As you'd expect, lots of meat options to enjoy. They also had Spanish night. Things like paella and small plate tapas style foods and dishes like that. Probably the most popular theme night was seafood. They had a huge selection of fish and seafood options, which is great when you're so close to the ocean. They also had a Mexican night, but I forgot to take any videos of that one. If you have a sweet tooth, they always have a lot of desserts. And if you prefer a cool treat, they have an ice cream bar for you. Oh, and they have a self-serve tequila station. Remember before when I said that I almost never ate lunch at the main buffets? That's because those buffets are near the hotel lobbies, but I was usually closer to the pools and the beach. Another lunch option is to eat at the buffets at the beach grills. They're only steps away from the pools, which is perfect since you can just grab your lunch quickly without changing or leaving the pool for long. The first one I'll show you is Palmera's by the Tropical Hotel, with some palm tree statues flanking the front entrance. The food selection at the beach grills is more limited than the main buffets, but I was always able to find something I liked. And I ate lunch at the beach grills almost every day. One of the main reasons to eat at them is because of the open air layouts with amazing views out over the pools and beach. If you're spending the day relaxing in the sun by the Colonial's pool and swim-up bar, you can almost reach out and touch the El Mariachi Beach Grill. When you look at it, it seems like a huge place with the big, steep thatched roofs covering the restaurant. As soon as you step inside, there's a big metal mariachi band waiting to greet you. And right in the middle of the restaurant is a nice central bar area. And as you look around it, you'll notice that nearly everywhere you stand, you have an incredible view out over the beach area and the ocean. The design of the roofs made the restaurant feel really big, with a lot of open space above you and the ceilings nowhere near you. The food selection was nearly identical to Tropical. They all seemed to have very similar menus. The options were pretty consistent every day, but there were some dishes swapped in and out to add variety. And throughout the day, if you get hungry and need a quick snack, they have things like soups, burgers, chips and salsa, and pizza. The beach grill at the Caribe Hotel is called Captain Morgan's. As you probably guessed, it has a pirate theme. I was expecting a few pirate statues and some pictures, but was really surprised to see that it had a full pirate ship inside. It serves double duty as the bar, with pirates standing watch on the upper decks looking out over the restaurant. If you're like me and love over-the-top themes and designs, then you'll probably like that they go all out with this. The ship takes up most of the space inside the restaurant, so they have outdoor seating too. I think this is the only beach grill with outdoor tables, in case you're brave enough to eat under the Mexican sun. All of these grills have soups and salads and hot dishes and pizza and burgers and kids' foods and desserts and a bunch of other options. As I said before, the options changed a little bit every day, but they were pretty consistent, and I was always able to find things that I liked. They all have full-service bars in the center of the restaurants, but they also have self-serve beer taps so you can pour your own. The last beach grill is Rancho Grande, over by the pool area at the Barcelo Maya Beach Hotel. This one has a ranch theme to it, with a donkey greeting you as you walk in, pulling a cart full of supplies behind it. Even though all of these grills have different themes and layouts, the food selection was nearly identical at all of them. But, like I said before, the grills are all about the convenience factor. If I wanted more food options, I could have walked to the main buffets. And they all have beautiful open-air designs, perfect for enjoying your meal while looking out at the ocean. The dress code at the grills is pretty simple too, so you don't really need to plan very far ahead. As long as you have shoes on, aren't wet, and are mostly covered up, you can go inside. When it comes to dinner time, that's your chance to get a little fancier at the a-la-carte restaurants. Personally, these were my favorite meals at the resort. The buffets weren't bad, it's just that I find a-la-carte meals are usually much better. But the a-la-carte restaurants are where things start to get a little bit confusing. You need reservations for them, but the number of reservations you're allowed to make depends on how long you stay at the resort and what type of room you book. The longer you stay, the more a la carte meals you can have. I stayed 11 nights in a regular room, so I was allowed to have 7 a la carte dinners. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is to know which restaurants you want to eat at and make your reservations as soon as you check in. You make reservations at the guest services office, so go there right away. They all get filled up pretty soon, so book quickly to make sure you don't end up with a bad reservation time or miss out on the restaurants. All of the restaurants have dress codes: long pants, sleeved shirts, and closed-toed shoes for men, and no beachwear or flip-flops for women. The same rules apply to anyone over 13, but not to younger kids. The first restaurant I'll show you is Santa Fe Steakhouse, part of the Barcelo Maya Tropical. It's probably obvious from the name, but you're going to find plenty of meat options on the menu. While you wait for your table or for the rest of your group, they have a small bar in the lobby. Inside, they have it decorated to look like you're at a ranch in Argentina. I like the design since it didn't feel like it was trying to be too fancy or stuck up. To start, they have an appetizers bar where you can take your pick of all the different starters they have. I really like that since it let me sample a bunch of things instead of committing to one appetizer. But let's be honest, the reason you come to a steakhouse is for the beef. It came with some corn and a baked potato and a few different sauces you can use. And as you're going to see with all of these restaurants, make sure to leave a little room at the end for dessert. Sharing a lobby with Santa Fe is Capri, one of the Italian restaurants. I didn't end up eating here, so I'm not sure what the experience is like, but the menu looked pretty similar to the resort's other Italian restaurant. Mare Nostrum is the resort's seafood restaurant. It's attached to the Colonial Hotel, and as you probably guessed, it's almost completely fish and seafood. Just like at Santa Fe and Capri, there's a lobby bar where you can grab a drink while you wait. The first thing you see when you walk in is a treasure chest and all of the dessert options you have. The restaurant has an open kitchen, and the wall colors remind me of ocean blue and a kind of sandy yellow. And you can even see a school of fish swimming along the walls while you eat. I actually ended up having dinner here twice, and both times I loved it. The appetizers I had were nice and light with great flavors to them. The other courses were nice, but the main dishes were definitely the stars of the show. Both times I went with the Caribbean lobster. The first time I had the lighter grilled lobster, and the second time the richer lobster cardinal. Judging by what I saw coming out of the kitchen, lobster seemed to be the most popular thing on the menu. Nearly everyone was ordering it. Overall, I really enjoyed my meals here and was happy I went twice. Mare Nostrum shares a lobby with Kyoto. Its menu is nearly identical to the other Japanese restaurant, so I skipped this one. The second Japanese restaurant is called Tokyo, and it's over in the Maya Mall near the Caribe Hotel. It's really lively outside with light-up cherry trees and a lot of people out exploring the mall. As you can see from the menu, it's nearly identical to Kyoto, but I thought the location and atmosphere seemed more fun at this one. When you walk in, you'll see a sushi bar up front and the big teppanyaki grills. And along the back wall, they have a row of Buddha statues with candles that add to the atmosphere. If you're looking for a performance, make sure to reserve one of the show tables for your dinner. It's the same food as the regular tables, but you get the full experience of watching it cooked in front of you. You'll get to see the chef doing a bunch of tricks and entertaining the crowd and lots of fire, so it makes for a fun way to spend your time while your meal is being cooked. To start, they bring you some sushi that they make over at the sushi bar. For the main dish, they stir-fry some rice, grill some veggies, and prepare your meat for you. If you're looking for a quiet, peaceful meal, this probably won't be for you. But if you want a bit of fun and a performance while you eat, this restaurant is a great choice. Next to Tokyo is La Trattoria, the other Italian restaurant. I didn't go to this one either. Normally I really like Italian food, but on this trip I decided to try some of the other restaurants instead. Next up is La Fuente at the Caribe Hotel. It's a Spanish restaurant, so I was pretty excited to try it since I have almost no experience eating Spanish food. As soon as you walk in, the vases and colorful tiling immediately catch your attention. The dining area is more subdued, with mostly red coloring everywhere, accented with wood. Like at the Steakhouse, they have an appetizer buffet to start, so you can try a few different things. This was nice, since as I said, I don't know much about Spanish food, but I enjoyed my meal. The one dish I did recognize the name of was paella, and I was glad I got a chance to finally try it. Last but not least is the Mexican restaurant, Mexico Lindo. It's over by the beach hotel with a mermaid out front. This is a restaurant I was most excited for, since I was hoping that being in Mexico, this would be the most authentic restaurant at the resort. As soon as you walk in, there's a big wall of tequilas greeting you, and it's almost like they're locked away in their own tiny prison cells. And then there's a tequila cart waiting for you by the tables. The design of the dining area reminded me of an upscale Mexican estate with big chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. Personally, I really liked this restaurant, and it was exactly what I was expecting and hoping for. Actually, I liked it so much I ended up having dinner here twice on my trip. One of my favorite things was that they not only had classic Mexican dishes, but also some local specialties from nearby on the Yucatan Peninsula. I really liked that even though we were at a huge resort, they still included some of the local cuisine and culture on their menu. Those are all of the restaurants and buffets, but what about if you just want a late night snack? One option is to stop by a lobby bar, since they all have a few snacks out for you while you drink. The other option is Striker's Sports Bar in the Maya Mall. It's open 24 hours a day, so it's a great option if you're looking for somewhere to get some food when nothing else is open. The food is pretty limited and reminds me of what they have in US sports stadiums. Things like burgers, hot dogs, popcorn, nachos, and chicken nuggets. But if you're hungry and are just looking for some hot food at the end of a long night, then it's nice to have this available. So that's it. I've shown you all of the food options you have access to with your all-inclusive package at the Barcelo Maya Grand Resort. 2 huge buffets for breakfast and lunch, with special theme nights for dinner, 4 poolside beach grills, 8 a-la-carte restaurants, a 24/7 sports bar buffet, snacks from the lobby bars, and room service. If you're anything like me, you won't have any trouble finding food on your trip and you'll always be full. Remember, if you want to know more about where the Barcelo Maya Grand is, what the hotels look like, and what a standard room is like inside, check out part 1 of my video. If you want to see all the pools and beaches, check out part 2. In my next video, I'm going to talk about all of the bars and nightlife at the resort. And in other parts, I'll talk about the things to see at the Barcelo Maya, the free and extra cost activities they have, some nearby day trips off resort, and much more. If you want to watch any of those videos, links to them are in the video description. If you have any questions about the video or the Barcelo Maya, ask me in the comments. And while you're at it, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. On Instagram, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting. On Twitter, I'm Firsthand Globe. Follow me on there. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.